Hey, I'm Hayden Berry, and for my project, I decided to make a game with the help of ChatGPT. Well, actually, when I pitched this project, I said I was going to make a 3D parkour game, but it did not end up that way. So, I used ChatGPT throughout the learning and development process. Basically, if I had any questions or needed ideas or forgot something, then I would just ask ChatGPT. So, the first week of the project, I was just copying and pasting others' code into a blank 3D project, which left me with a 3D character and a pretty nice parkour system similar to the ones from the Assassin's Creed games. But then I realized that I was basically cheating, so I just deleted that project and decided to restart making a simpler 2D game with more of a focus on learning than the actual game, which definitely shows in the current state of my game. The next week after the great reboot, I asked ChatGPT for a guide to staying on track and some free project managers, which led me to a site called Trello, which I use to plan everything. I use that site a lot. And the rest of the week, I watched YouTube tutorials and took notes on the Unity interface and the basics of scripting, which is like Unity's version of coding. Over the course of the next month, I used the notes and ChatGPT to create a blue cube that could move left and right. It could jump different heights depending on how long you press space. It could dash and leave behind a little trail. It could infinitely wall jump. It could wall slide and could reset by pressing R. I also created a tutorial level that showcased all of the features. And also created a prototype main menu. In the next couple of weeks, I added sounds like walking, dashing, jumping, dying, main menu button clicks, and background ambience. I added 2 more levels. Added red blocks that respawns you whenever you touched it. And I added a gold block that brings you to the next level. I also remade the main menu to make it simpler. I added a level select menu and made it to where the buttons on the main menus change colors whenever you press them or hover over them. At this point, I only had 1 week left and was terrified because my game looked like I didn't put in any effort So I tried to add building textures to the platforms, but the scaling wouldn't work right. And even with ChatGPT, I could not figure out how to fix it. So I tried to manually add objects of different colors to get it to look right, which actually worked for the tutorial level. It looked pretty good. But on the other two more complex levels, it looked worse than when it was just simple colors. So I just decided to remove the textures I added and stick with the simple color theme. I also plan to create an options menu connected to the main menu, but I ran out of time, so I just deleted the button for it. The biggest challenges in this project were definitely the textures, the sound, and learning the layout of Unity. There was also a little issue with ChatGPT, but it wasn't that big of a deal. So the reason that the sound was challenging was because I had to find free sound sources online, which took surprisingly long. You think it would be pretty easy, but they're actually pretty hard to find. Also, the way Unity works is component-based, so in order to add a sound to an object, you have to add an audio source to the object, and then in the audio source, you have to set the audio clip to the asset you want, and then you have to control how the sound plays in a script, which was the easy part. That part's pretty easy. And the hard part is when you have multiple audio sources attached to the same object, Unity doesn't have a built-in way to differentiate them. So you have to make a way in a script, which took me about 2 days to figure out, even with the help of ChatGPT. But the solution ended up being to create a public variable for each audio source, and then attach the audio source into whatever variable you wanted it to be. I already talked about the pain of trying to fix the textures. And the ChatGPT issue was that when ChatGPT recommended a video, the links it gives you doesn't work. And it always says that the video was removed. And when it recommends websites, you have to copy and paste the link into the address bar. But that wasn't that big of a deal. It was just a little annoying. So for the outcome, I'm a little worried because having no textures or background image really makes it seem like I didn't spend much time on this project. That paired with only having 3 levels and being 2D, it's nothing like I said it would be. But even with all that stuff, I'm pretty proud of my project and still think it was worth it even if I end up failing. Really, the only ethical consideration is plagiarism, which is already a huge issue, with coding in general. If I were to sell my game, it would be super illegal because I used free assets and didn't give credit to who made them, which is because I ran out of time and I don't know how to. Another thing is that some people think that things created by AI are not original, and with how much of a role AI played in this project, I definitely think that would be an issue if I were to release my game, but I'm not going to. So in conclusion, AI played a large part in this project, and while I do think it would be possible to do this project without AI, it significantly reduced the amount of time I had to spend looking for things, except assets, because ChatGPT can only recommend websites. It can't recommend specific assets. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys like my project as much as I did, and I'll see you later.